Hello, and here we are again. What we've got on the bench today, it's surprisingly it's another Seiko. This is one I got on a multi-pack from eBay. I bought three. I like this one because it's square. It's got a sort of TV shape. As you can see from the back there on the numbers, the 2D 3666. The 2 is the decade. So this is 72, and the D is December. The rest of the numbers are the case numbers, but it's a 7009. That's the movement. It's same as what I did last time. It's pretty beat up, but I don't know. I saw it and I was quite intrigued with it being a square one. I haven't got one of those in my collection. So here we go. What I'm going to do on here, we're going to strip it down. I'm not going to show you the full video of stripping and rebuild. Sort of editing it, but because I had some issues with this, but I did good in the end. It's a Seiko 5. You can see that on the dial, and that they are Seiko 5s. It is a solid, good quality case, sturdy case. Day and date. It's automatic. You don't wind it; it winds itself. It's waterproof or water resistant. In them days, you could say waterproof. You can't say it now. And the crown's at 4 o'clock, which is very good because you don't. It's less vulnerable to be whacked. It's quite flush as well on here, so it is a bit of an awkward thing to set. Excuse me. And it's also away from the 3 o'clock position where it could potentially dig in your wrist. But it's a I like it. The dial's a bit dark. The crystals are in a bit of a state, and it's a square, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to have to give that a good clean up. The casing is heavily scratched again, so I've bought some new polishing wheels and some soaps, and I'm going to have a go at that and see if I can get it down. So this one's it's more of a venture into restoring. I did have lots of problems with it, but as you'll see later, I did sort them out, which is very good. It makes you feel okay. It's quite rewarding. So I'm going to pull it apart on this bit, and what you'll see shortly. I've pulled it apart about 3 or 4 times. I actually put a new mainspring in because on the first time it didn't go together well, and it wasn't running very well at all. And I never changed the springs because Seiko recommends you don't change the springs; you just change the whole barrel. But I've been on the other videos and they all do it, so I thought I'd give it a go. So what you can see here again, it's speeded up. I don't work that fast. It's me pulling it apart, and I'm going to change the spring. I bought a new spring. Springs aren't. I mean, you should change them. I think I paid £7. No, that were postage. So I'm pulling it apart again with a new spring. Oh, it's just more of the same, but I have to say on this one, I felt I'd learned something. I wasn't trying to figure out where the parts went back, and they went back a lot easier. And the balance wheel, which I normally have lots of fun with, and normally cost me buying several balance wheels, went on fine. Got it in. So one time I actually got it in the first attempt, and it sprang to life. It's the first time it's done that. So I definitely feel like I'm getting there. Definitely getting improvements. Don't know about the video editing. That still needs a bit of work. But this is also the last of my backlog of videos I've got on my computer. So once this one's done, I'm going to start again. I've done some little experimentation with 2 cameras, and I'm going to do that. I tried to introduce it to this one, but I couldn't sync them. I think I deleted the one I needed. So I've got the overhead camera, and I'll use my phone camera. On this one, when I put it back together, it's still not running right, and I actually used my microscope, which is a excellent bit of kit. I never thought when I bought a cheap one off Amazon last year just to help with bits and bobs, and I didn't think I'd use it. I almost sent it back. But boy, oh boy, you certainly need it when you get to this level. When you start to focus on not getting the watch running, but getting the watch running well, that's that's the difference where I'm at now. As I said, I generally feel it's getting a little bit better and less problematic, which is also good because there's less money you spend on spare parts. So you'll see me in a second take the barrel out. The barrel on these split sort of halfway. On the other ones I've done, that you take the top off like a cap. But this is halfway. I've bought some mainspring winders, and I did have success with that. I did put a new mainspring in on a experimental watch, a damaged watch, and it's gone in a treat. So from now on, every watch I do, I will take the spring out regardless, because this spring was, when I did get it out, it was very uneven. It wouldn't lie flat, and it was in the right state. And I tried to run the watch like that, so because I didn't want to buy another barrel because it's about £15, and which is not a lot of money. But when you've got as many Seikos as I have waiting to be done, it's still mad up. So I needed to get in, and I'm glad I did because it was no big deal. It was just like a pocket watch, you know. But you can't put them in by hand; they're too finicky. So you'll see me in a moment. I've got the spring out there, and I'm just checking the state of it. And it's, I mean, you can't tell about the fatigue in it, but you can tell if it's warped, twisted, and there were a bit of damage on the last curl. It was a bit misshapen. So I've got a new one there. You get a bit a day, 2 days off eBay, and they're pre-wound. They're like a small collar, and you just shove it in the barrel. You clean your barrel, shove it in, and then I built it together. I built it back up, and I saw the problem. So that's my microscope I used. That's plugged into my monitor, and that's what I saw. That's on the fourth wheel where the second hand fits, one that counts the seconds. It was running, and then it would just stop, and then or virtually stop, and then start again, and it was driving me bonkers. And I just got it on there. This is the spare wheel, and you can see the tip at the top. That was quite worn, so I had to get the big guns out, and this is a jackot tool. It's very expensive, but it's a beautiful bit of kit. And you can see in the centre there, the wheel is actually in the middle. What I plan to do, you can see it there on the monitor shot. You can see where it's sat in it, and the pivot is actually sits in like an anvil. You'll see it in a minute. You can see the cutouts on the wheel. I'm just trying to highlight it there. I mean, it shows you how small it is because it's very hard to touch. But there's the pivot sat inside the anvil, and it sits in there so you can burnish it, which is burnishing. It's not filing. Burnishing it is when you heat it up and you flatten it out. Your file is very hard, very bloody expensive as well. It's only like a needle file, and it cost me £150. But it flattens it out, and what you do, you get that bow, and then you pull it backwards and forwards and get a rotation going, and it spins one way, it spins the other, and then you use your burnishing file the other way. And the idea is you try and get some heat in there to flatten it. It's not like rubbing sticks together, it's just, very short term. And that is the pivot when I finished. So I was quite pleased about that. Puts it all together, and look what I've got. This is speeded up. So I have got it's a flat timeline. It's very good in time and beat error. I'm only getting 200 amplitude, which is 200 degrees amplitude, which it's not brilliant to be fair. It should be 230 at least. So I don't know, a bit more work on that, but I'm happy at this stage. I've got it nice. I've got a good flat line, so I'm taking it. And there we go, bingo. That's the baby. The strap, I bought a recent batch from China, and really cheap. And I think that looks good. You can see, I love that blue tinge on it. The crystals come up a tree. I couldn't get that better, but it's £50 for a new one, so I'm glad I did. I could have gone more with my polishing. I could have gone a bit heavier, but I was afraid to sort of damage it. So, but that's good enough. It looks nice. It runs well. It's less than a minute a day. Day and date works fine, and yeah, I'm chuffed to bits. It's going to be in my collection. I think I've got 9 now in my collection, from Seikos, and yeah, it's good. It's running well. The dates, I was a bit bothered about the date, but it sort of missed the first one, which bothered me, but it's not nice. I don't know what happened there. But I hope you like it. Again, this is a shorter video. It's just to show you and to finish off my backlog. The next videos are going to be a lot more synced. I'm not going to do any other projects. And so like it, subscribe, you know the story. Send me lots of gifts. I'm joking, really. But no, that's it. And I'll show you the next one soon, hopefully with 2 cameras. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.